With temperatures forecasted to return to 105 plus again, we are starting to think about surviving the rest of the summer. Staying comfortable in your car is a big part of that. But when you're coming and going, what's the best way to cool that car off fast? 13 Fact Finders looked into it. In a southern Arizona summer, it always feels too hot to get in your car.
Even if the ambient temperature outside the vehicle is, say, 90, 98 degrees, inside is amplified tremendously because you're inside essentially like an oven, if you will.
That's Vinny DeCruz of Driven Automotive, where he spent a lot of time learning what cools down a car. And he says that starts with good window tint. But then what?
So what I would recommend is crack the windows down, maybe 2-3 inches, all 4 of them. You turn your AC on, point the vents up higher because hot air rises. So you want to point the vents up higher, and you want to use the fresh air button. When you drive that for 2-3 minutes, and then you can go ahead and roll the windows up, change the setting, you've cooled off your car, and now you're back in the swing of things.
You don't want to crank the recirculating air for the first 2 minutes because that inside air is hot, and your air conditioner will have to work harder. And don't pre-cool your car. You'll just waste gas because the car cools down faster when the engine turns. Something else that'll make your car work harder? A dirty air filter. It means less air gets through to cool you down. Now, if you roll your eyes when a mechanic offers you this with an oil change, it's easy to change it yourself.
They're fairly cheap, it's just much like your AC filter. You know, it's not until somebody realizes they have to replace a whole unit because they ignored, you know, an $8 filter.
He uses every 3rd or 4th oil change as a rule of thumb, but that depends on how dusty your drives are. Lastly, what about those social media tricks like this one, popularized in Japan? When the air is unbearable, the idea is to pump it out.
Science behind it is it's supposed to fan out the side.
Vinny hasn't tested this one, but it is supported by science, so if you have the time, it's worth a try.
Desperate times and desperate measures.
And now I'm joined by our own weather scientist, 13 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Aaron Christensen. Does that make sense to you? That would work? You've got one door open and then you're pumping the other. Is there like a scientific methodology behind
It's just kind of the basics of fluid dynamics. And what I would recommend that you do is actually have the back window down on the opposite side from which you're opening the door. And then just that quick movement of doing that kind of creates a little bit of a vacuum, and it sucks that hot air that's in the car out. It has to fill that void with something, so then it automatically draws that relatively cooler air from outside into your car.
Okay.
But you got to keep in mind that you're still drawing the air from outside in, so it's still going to be like, what, 90 degrees, 100 degrees. But if your car is 130,
it gets so much hotter.
You automatically drop it by a good 40 degrees pretty quickly. And then of course your air conditioning at that point isn't going to have to work as hard. Just remember to roll the window back up.
Yes, indeed. You're so smart about this stuff. That was Aaron's story idea, by the way, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I really learned some stuff there. Really, really great. Thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you.